Okay, welcome back to Math 65. We're going to do the last part of our review of graphing lines. Find the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line with the given properties. It passes through this point. It's parallel to this line. So what do we remember about parallel lines? Parallel lines have what in common? That's right. They have the same slope. So that means we know the slope m equals negative 2/3. Now I'll show you another way that you can find the y-intercept. This is not the y-intercept. The y-intercept has to have x equal to 0. Okay, so if I want to find, this one has a y-intercept of 4. I don't know what the y-intercept on this new equation is, but if I know y equals mx plus b, I can replace that slope, substitute the slope in. I also have an x and a y coordinate, and then all I would have left to solve for is b. So I'm going to plug in 2 for y, negative 2/3 for x, and for m, and 6 for x. The only variable left to solve for is b. This is just a different way of finding the y-intercept, different than what we did in the previous example that I showed where I used point slope form. So if I'm multiplying fractions, 3 goes into 6 2 times, I get 2 equals, that's cross canceling, negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 plus b. Now you could reason that out. What number minus 4 gives you 2, or you could just simply add 4 to both sides, and we get b equals 6. So that means our y-intercept is 6, and our equation is going to be y equals negative 2/3 x plus 6. That's the equation. Okay, now we want a line that passes through this point, so this is x and y, same point, but it's perpendicular. So what do we know about perpendicular lines? Perpendicular lines, this is a symbol for perpendicular, there's the right angles. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So the opposite of a negative is a positive. The reciprocal of 2/3 is 3 halves. So I already know that that's the slope, and I know I have this ordered pair. So I'm going to do the same method I did above, and I'm going to plug in y is 2, m is 3 halves, x is 6, and I'm going to solve for b because I want the equation, so I want the y-intercept. I already know the slope, and I already know 1 point. So here again, I'm going to cross cancel. So I know that 2 goes into 6 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 equals 9 plus b. I'm going to subtract 9. I get negative 7 equals b. So my equation is y equals 3 halves x, because that's the slope, minus 7, because that's where the y-intercept came from as well. Okay, a line that passes through negative 3, 4 that has an undefined slope. So anytime you have an undefined slope, what kind of line do you have? You have a vertical line that has an undefined slope. Oh, that already says that. And that's just going to be x equals a number. That's the equation always for a vertical line. So since my x is negative 3, my equation is x equals negative 3. X is always going to be negative 3. Can you give me some other points that would be on that line? Yeah, negative 3 is the x, and any other number, any other number is 10. Any other number would be the y value, but you always have to make sure that x is equal to negative 3. Okay, so this line passes through this point and has a 0 slope. You're right, a 0 slope is going to be a horizontal line. And since the y, and it's always y equals a number, y equals b because that's the y-intercept, so it's going to be y equals 4 since that's the y value there. So hopefully that was a good review for you on Math 60. And of course you can always go on to Connect Math and you can go back to chapter 0 through 3 to review. And that could be in your textbook, or you could do practice problems. But talk to me if you're feeling like you're struggling with this material, and it might be a good idea if it's been a while to repeat Math 60 and just brush up on all of these content. Okay?